Here's another review from 3 days and Tres Noches, and this time we are taking a Caribbean sunset tour of one of the top-rated beaches in the entire globe, Playa Norte on Isla Mujeres in Cancun. Watching the sunset over one of the top-rated beaches in the globe is something you will never forget, so I highly recommend this tour or something like it. However, I definitely want to give you some tips and real info that you can use before booking this tour. So let's start with booking this tour and how you do it. So we stayed at the Sun Palace in the hotel zone in Cancun, and we booked through the resort. However, it is run by a third-party company, so booking it was pretty easy through Sun Palace. In fact, I did it 30 days before I arrived because previously we had wanted to go on a tour like this, but everything was booked up. So the first tip is I encourage you to book any tours that you know that you want to take before arriving to the resort. Since it was booked by a third-party company, I had a little trouble getting the information I needed before going on the tour, like when we leave, what we need to bring, what to expect, and those types of things. So I'm really hoping this review is going to help you be more prepared if you do decide to go on this tour. The company that Sun Palace used was Contoy Adventures. So I think next time I would just book directly through the company. I probably wouldn't book through the resort. Because the first thing is that just like on some other tours that we've been on, you have to share transportation. So that means you have to go to the different hotels and resorts and pick up other people. We were at the tip of the hotel zone, so we really didn't have to go out of our way at all to pick up these people, but it does add a good 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm thinking next time if I book just directly through the company, I can just take a taxi there and we can go directly when we're ready. So the cost of the tour was $69 a person, which wasn't bad. It included the transportation to the boat, and the boat ride also included alcohol. It had rum, tequila, I think, and vodka, but very, very basic level, and some sodas. Now, in terms of food and snacks, they really didn't have anything. On the way back, they gave us a version of a sandwich, which I didn't touch. So recommendation is that you bring snacks and even food. You can also bring your own alcohol. They allow you to bring anything that you want on the boat. So for instance, beer was an extra $2. So if you wanted to bring that, although that's very cheap, but you could just kind of bring whatever you wanted. I also recommend that you bring towels. Definitely bring towels. We forgot towels. And a sweatshirt because it does get chilly sometimes, or even a change of clothes because, we swam a lot at the end. So we were a little shocked when we got there that it was an additional $15 per person, and everyone that we were with was also shocked. However, if I look back at that PDF that I showed you earlier, very, very tiny in the bottom right-hand corner, there is something that does say that there will be additional taxes. So just know that it will be an additional $15 per person when you get there. Okay, so now let's get on this tour. I'm so excited to show you this. We left the resort, I think it was around 3 o'clock, and by the time we got to the port, it was closer to 4. So we were boarding the boat, I would say, 4:15-ish. We had to wait maybe 10 or 15 minutes at the port for the boat to be cleaned and ready for us to get on it. And when they started to line us up, they do have a photographer that takes pictures, and then she also comes on board with you. So just know to bring extra money if you want to buy those photos. She did a great job. We didn't buy any because we were taking our own pictures, but we ended up tipping her anyway. We just thought it was a good deed to do that because she really was working hard on the boat to take some amazing pictures. Now, this particular tour company only runs this tour, I think, 3 times a week. So other tour companies that do the same thing, I'm not sure. So we were surprised that there were not that many people actually on the boat with us, actually pleasantly surprised. And we still had an amazing time, even though it wasn't too crowded. Right away, we knew that this was going to be a really fun boat ride over to Isla Mujeres. They had amazing live entertainment. This guy was playing the trumpet and the saxophone. They also had a DJ going. And then they had the MC, the guy there that you can see, who was the lead entertainer, just making sure everyone was having fun, being entertaining, and then also obviously serving us drinks as well. Again, they do have just rail liquor, rum, vodka, and tequila, I think is what they have. And if you wanted to buy beers, they were $2. And just to recap what to bring on this tour. So the first thing is make sure you bring towels. sunscreen, a bag, a change of clothes I would even recommend, and then also something if you get cold, so a sweatshirt, because you'll see later at night it did get a little chilly, and then a hat or something like that I would definitely recommend. And then if you want to bring any snacks, like I mentioned, there's not a lot of food. You can even bring your own drinks if you wanted. And then of course extra cash so you can tip not only the entertainers but the MC. So you definitely have to factor that into the cost of this trip. Just the ride over to Isla Mujeres is so gorgeous. And the last time that we were there, we actually did the ferry trip. So you can check out our video on that. And I am going to do a comparison video as well. I definitely recommend spending the extra money and doing a tour like this because there's just nothing like it. We had so much fun. And it's just nice to have that private access to the boat. And we continued to party and have such a good time the whole boat ride. Even though there wasn't that many people on the boat, they just kept the energy going and they made it feel like the boat was completely full. It was so much fun. Like I said, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes to get from Cancun to Isla Mujeres. And the only downside I would say of this trip is that we did not have a lot of time on the island itself. Not, I would say just about an hour because we wanted to catch the sunset, obviously coming back. So that's just something to consider. If you're looking for something where you really want to be able to explore the island, you might want to do an all-day tour. But we were really focused on seeing that sunset. So we didn't mind too much. Plus, we'd already been to the island and we didn't need that time to explore. They do require masks when you arrive to Isla Mujeres to get through the port. But once you get through it, you can take them off or leave them on, whatever you want. Now, the very first thing they do when you arrive to the island is they take you across the street to the diamond store and all the way to the back where there is a very large tequila bar and they have you do lots of free tequila shots. So just know that the goal here, one, is to get you a little tipsy so that you buy not only the alcohol, but then all of the diamonds and the jewelry that are there on your way out. We had fun with it and they weren't really that aggressive and we did actually buy some alcohol to take back. Now remember, we don't have a lot of time to explore the island, so if you do take this tour, don't get caught stuck at the tequila bar and in the diamond store, which is what they will try to do. You've got to be a little bit aggressive yourself and make your way out. Most people would rent a golf cart to explore the island, but you really don't have time to do that. So if you are looking to really explore the island more, this probably isn't the tour for you. This is an ideal tour for someone that's been to the island before, really wants to see the sunset. So if you want more time on the island, maybe do an all-day tour where you can take the boat over. You have 3 or 4 hours on the island, and then you can still catch the sunset going back. So the biggest recommendation I can make if you take this tour is to eat something when you get on the island. And in fact, I would research a really nice restaurant that you could just go directly to that's right near the port, that you could have something really good food, maybe some drinks before having to come back. So we found a cute little place right on the water, but again, we didn't really look too much into it because we didn't know all the details of the tour. So the food was okay. We had some drinks, but at least it was something, because if you're drinking, you'll be drinking a lot. And then again, on the way back, it's this cellophane wrap sandwich that they give you, which I wasn't too sure of, so I didn't really even touch mine. So make sure while you're shopping around that you do get some food. Now again, while you're shopping around, just keep in mind that they are going to try to bargain with you, and so you can bargain back. There's lots of places to shop. We actually didn't really buy anything while we were on the island this time, but just keep that in mind as well. Time to catch that unforgettable sunset, so we went back and we met the group at the port as we were instructed. As soon as we boarded, the party continued, the drinks were flowing, the music was going, and it didn't take us very long to get to Playa Norte since we were literally right there. Another note about this tour is that you don't actually physically ever go to Playa Norte. So as you can see here, you just see it from a distance. When we go anchor, we anchor at a shallow spot that is, again, within distance of Playa Norte, but you're not actually physically going to the beach. So if that's something that you really want to do, this is not the tour for you. Again, look into a full day tour at Isla Mujeres. So once the boat found a good shallow spot, they dropped the anchor, and this is where you get your chance to swim while watching the sunset go down. And really, this is where the party started. So they just ramp up the music, ramp up the DJ. And again, we didn't have a lot of people on board, and there were only a few people that got in the water, but we still had a blast, and we watched that amazing sunset. It's really something I will never, ever forget. We danced almost into the night. Well, at least I danced almost into the night. But now it was time to board the boat and start the trip back home. But I had to give you one last look at this amazing sunset. And the trip back home was just as fun as the trip there. They kept the energy high, the music going, the drinks flowing, and we just had a ball going back, which again was about 20 to 30 minutes. So now, should you book a Caribbean sunset tour to Isla Mujeres? And I think absolutely yes, if you've already been to the island before and you want to experience it in a different way. If you haven't been to the island before, you might be disappointed because you don't get a lot of time to explore the island itself. And you don't even get to really go to the beach. So in that case, I would recommend doing a full day tour, whether the resort offers it or there's so many different options out there that you can research and book yourself. Now, if you don't want to take an all day tour, there's still lots of options to explore the island. Make sure you check out the video I made where we actually took the ferry over and did the island ourselves. But there's lots of options out there. There's so many tour companies that you could choose to do a half day tour as well that gives you the option to spend more time on the island. Overall, I was very impressed with this tour company and would definitely use them again. Even though there was a lack of communication in the beginning and preparation, I really blame the resort and their lack of communication with the tour company. But once we got there, the level of service, attention, and even though there was not a lot of people on the boat, just how they kept the energy up and the entertainment high no matter what. They wanted to make sure that the 10 people on that boat were going to get the best time that we ever had. And it really, really showed. So let's go over a few downsides. One is the food that they serve. It is a cellophane wrap sandwich. It's really not that great. Also, don't forget to bring any snacks and drinks that you may want as well. But again, if we go back to that PDF, it does just refer to snacks that are being served. So if I were to go on this tour again, I would make sure that I would pack food and probably eat a little bit more when I was on the island, which brings me to the other thing, which is you didn't get a lot of time on the island, probably not even an hour. Again, I had been there for before, so that wasn't a huge issue for me. And then I'd have to say that type of alcohol that they served in the boat was very, very basic. But again, for what you're paying, I would expect only to have basic standard liquor, and you can bring whatever you want on the boat. So if you wanted to bring your own, you could do that as well. So just final reminder of some things to bring if you go on this tour. One is towels for sure. Remember, I forgot those towels. Possibly a sweatshirt, change of clothes. Definitely bring cash for tips, and if you want to shop on the island, they do take cards and everything on the island, but they don't take cards in the boat for tips. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe and follow us on 3 Days and Tres Noches, while we take you on fun, exciting, and affordable adventures that you can have in a really short amount of time. You don't need a whole week to have an amazing vacation.